Hey guys, welcome to the Coolest Cheers podcast. This is a boy Tabucho. Please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Yes, I know I'm late about the Morgan Rogers news. I said it on Saturday, but Saturday and yesterday I was so busy I couldn't do a stream about it. But Morgan Rogers to Chelsea is getting closer as we see some pictures from Sky Sports. Is going to have medical at Chelsea this morning. What a fantastic signing! First of all, beside the price tag, I think he's a good player, and he fits very well into how Xabi Alonso plays or will play Chelsea, similar to when he was doing coaching by Leverkusen. In terms of the price tag, yes, we overpaid, but again, the transfer window at the moment is so crazy, it's so wild. Every player now is overpriced. But overall, beside that, I think we signed a fantastic player. Yes, as Chelsea fans, we're going to have divided opinions, just like we did when we signed Enzo Fernandez, Moses Caicedo, a lot of players, Lukaku, you name them, all the back there. Overall, we overpaid, but again, we overpaid for a good player. And I'm so happy. So if you're new, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It says I'm overlapping fullback is the key. Wait, well, wait, it depends on which system you're going to play. If you're playing 4-2-3-1, yes, we need the overlapping fullback. But if you're playing 3-4-2-1, we're going to use wingbacks. That means it's going to closer to João Pedro. As Rogers likes to drift into 10s, 100%. But it all depends on how Xabi Alonso will use his squad. And big up, bruv, big up, bro. Hope you're good. And also, a lot of 10 of you are watching. If you haven't subscribed, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you interact with us in the comment section so that we can talk about Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, not Hato. I've saw some tweets from Chelsea fans putting Hato as a wingback. No. Hato is technically good to be a wingback. Maybe he can play as a left center back when he play back three, even a middle center back sometimes. I'm not saying he should do that, but he's good on that. But wingback, no. If we get Pep Cucurella is a more suited wingback. If Pedro Neto is staying, it can play as a wingback. Quenda can play as a wingback, but not Hato. But let's go to the bomber, David Austin bomber on Saturday before the England versus France third place playoff, and we were all chilling waiting for that game, and we saw this from David Austin, the goal of the transfer window. Exclusive Chelsea verbal Chelsea reached a verbal agreement with Aston Villa to sign Morgan Rogers' bid of 117 million euros accepted by Aston Villa and being finalized 6+1 year contract. Medical Monday, Aston Villa interest, Arsenal interest, but 23-year-old attacker wanted Chelsea. Xabi Alonso instrumental. Wow. Xabi Alonso pool says Maximo Ranger is the name I want. I don't mind him either, but again, it's going to cost a lot of money. They will give you a mega chance, but I'm not the coach. And I never said I want a mega to be sold or to be loaned. If you watch me, I said Jackson should be sold and we should keep a mega and João Pedro for next season. But again, he needs to impress Xabi Alonso during the preseason, and it's up to the Chelsea, to the club as well, not me as a fan. As a fan, yes, I know what I want, but again, it's up to Xabi Alonso and the club to decide. And hopefully this time, Chelsea one piece of a coach or a manager, one piece of Xabi Alonso. This is my biggest concern as a Chelsea fan. So hopefully they won't do that. So please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Overall, Barav, what are your thoughts about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea? What are your thoughts? And I also send a link to the panelists. If they're free, they can join. I wanted to do 1 p.m. UK time, but again, I need to go somewhere. So if I don't do it right now, I might not do a stream. So I said, okay, let me do earlier stream and hopefully for 1 hour or so. If not, 1 hour will be fine to talk about Morgan Rogers, where can he play as well. And I need new batteries for my keyboard because I wanted to do some technical things, but again, my keyboard uses a battery, and then I've just found out now the battery is no longer useful, so I need to buy new batteries as well. But forget about it. What are your thoughts about Morgan Rogers, guys, as a Chelsea fan? What are your thoughts about Morgan Rogers joining Chelsea? Let me know in the comment section. Let's go to the second goal. Fabrizio Romano says, breaking Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. Here we go. Tap to tap agreement reached today with Aston Villa to anticipate Arsenal official bid. 117 million euros accepted. Pounds, I mean, accepted. As David Austin reported, agreement done with Morgan Rogers on personal terms until June 32. Wow. Says I wanted Morgan Rogers last summer as a competition to Cole Palmer. In 10, we stalled with Summons and ended Loni Fakunde Bonanote. I'm glad you wanted him. This is my biggest concern. You know what I feel? I was pissed off about Xavi Simons. I think this similar thing Arsenal fans are feeling at the moment because Fabrizio Romano last summer told us over and over again Xavi Simons and Garnacho coming to Chelsea. We're just waiting for Nkunku and someone else to go. I think it was Jackson, and we're going to get the deals over the line. And then we waited until Tottenham Spurs hijacked the deal. Oh my gosh, I was so pissed off. You might not rate the player, but again, if Xavi Simons was playing at Chelsea with quality players, you should have done better. But again, let's forget about Spurs. Let's talk about Chelsea. Says Rogers would work interesting a system where he will place Enzo Fernandez left winger. Enzo Fernandez left winger. I don't understand. Please elaborate, bro. So overall, what a fantastic signing. And then I don't want to share nonsense about Arsenal fans say they didn't want him. Look at this. I just want to share this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Before here we go. This was the Fabrizio Romano tweet. Big up, Bobby.
Hey, Tobago.
How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Are you live?
Yeah, I'm live now at the moment.
Okay. So what's up? What's the topic?
I just wanted to talk about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. First, your thoughts, because I know you guys were at Chelsea perspective, but again, unfortunately, I've just watched some few minutes and then I got busy. But now I just wanted to do a show on my channel as well to react about this news. What are your thoughts about Chelsea getting Morgan Rogers beside the price tag? Because I think the price tag is huge, but again, what are your thoughts about Chelsea signing this player?
Um, Apparently is that Coburn doing his medical as we speak.
Yes.
Um, I mean, look, this is a clear statement of intent. It is a huge fee in a hyperinflated market, but if you want the best, you have to get the best. Look, we were all really pissed at these owners and sporting directors, especially towards the end of last season. You know, I, for one, started back in the protests. I think they were important. And I was disgusted with the whole mismanagement and financial irresponsibility that we find ourselves. Now, it's quite clear to me that they're trying to rectify that. And for me, I think everybody and everything deserves a second chance. Because my ultimate goal is the betterment and for the benefit of Chelsea Football Club. I don't particularly have any issue with anybody or the owners and all that. As long as they just keep the club on the path of glory, I'm fine with it. I mean, this is a statement of intent. I mean, 117 million pounds, no add-ons, nothing. That is a humongous sum of money. Um, is he worth it? Well, is anybody worth it? Um, you know, uh, Elliot Anderson went for 116 million pounds. You've got to do this sort of thing. Now, I know it means we have to make sales, certainly of the fringe players, and certainly the likes of Malo Gusto, maybe even Pedro Neto are at risk. But this is a good player. He is a good player, and this is the kind of player that you see come into the squad, and he helps shift the needle. Himself, if we can get Esteval firing, and the likes of Quenda, if he fits in, certainly on the wing and the number 10 type of positions, along with the players like Opama, if he has a good season, it could be quite interesting to see the outcome of that. He definitely is a player that will, as I've said, shift the needle. Is he the last piece of the puzzle? No. I still think the Lacroix deal needs to be pursued in earnest, and a left back deal needs to be pursued in earnest. After that, we could well be ready to go, because you see, at this point, this season it can't be an experimental season for Chelsea. We've got to go for it. We've got to challenge. That's all I said. We've got to challenge for the Premier League. Yes, coming from 10th, it's a tall ask. New manager, it's a tall ask. But, that's the position we've put ourselves with. The sporting directors have wasted going on 4 years building what nobody knows, spending extravagant sums of money. And with this latest massive cash injection, it must yield success. So I'm happy with this, with the purchase. I was absolutely shocked when it happened, just like everybody else. And it teaches us another thing, Tobago. Social media, and there's a section of Chelsea fans who push narratives. Oh, if you don't have Champions League football, nobody will want to come to you. Who told you that? Spurs have proved that wrong this season. Man United proved it wrong last season. And now we're showing that it's not, I mean, it helps, but it's not all about having Champions League or European football. Maybe it is to the fans and to sponsors, but to the players, many other factors come into play. One, the name of the club. Two, the project. Three, the playing time that would be given. I mean, if someone like Morgan Rogers went to Arsenal with their Ezes and Maduekes and so on, not to mention the likes of the Havertz, and they have a plethora of players that would make sure he's on the bench. Whereas at Chelsea, he's amongst his peers, his age mates. Many of them are his friends, the likes of Palmer, Tosin, Lavia. He knew them from the Man City Academy. He will be playing at Chelsea for sure. That left side is just begging for him. and he's in a position to become one of the carriers of the team, one of the key significant players of the team. And whether our detractors and anybody likes it or not, Chelsea is a magnificent club. We are one of the best clubs on this planet. We do have an elaborate history of unprecedented success in the 20 years of Roman Abramovich. But people forget that even before Abramovich came, that Chelsea were winning trophies. Maybe not regularly, but we were winning trophies, big trophies at that. Another thing that, just before I shut up, that I want people to understand is that this is an old English football institution. Chelsea Football Club was actually founded in 1850. It was named London Athletic back then by the Myers brothers. It was in 1905, through the toss of a coin, that it was rebranded. It was renamed Chelsea through the toss of a coin between a choice of Kensington FC and Chelsea FC. The coin landed on heads and they chose Chelsea, thereby rebranding a club that had existed since 1850 in 1905 to Chelsea Football Club. So this club has been around for a long, long time, well over 100 years. It is an institution. So this is a big club with big history and longevity in the game. People, it's still a pull for players. People want to be associated with Chelsea. The club is an ambitious club. So all this talk of, oh, you don't have Champions League football, so and so won't come to you. No. As long as you have the money and as long as you present a feasible project and show them where they fit in and make your pitch attractive and indeed follow it through, you will get any player you want if you're Chelsea. So, yes, this is a massive investment for a fantastic, fantastic player, but ultimately, we've got to succeed now. That's it.
100%, Bobby. The Bravia says, remember, guess where Wolves Enzo was playing left winger. I remember that game, and it also says Bobby would be happy as we bring height with which he wanted, and also in terms of height and physicality. I think Bobby was mentioned it last summer, last season, that we don't have height, we don't have
Yeah.
physical players. Now we have a physical player who's a ball carrier and tall as well.
Yeah, it's just under 6'3", which is exactly what we need. We have too many little players. He's fast, he's got good technicality as well, good physicality. I think he's the right guy. He really is. And if you combine him with people like Omega, Jao Pedro is not particularly big, but he's not short. Neither is Cole Palmer. So now we have that height, that aerial capability, which is very important in the Premier League. And another reason why we need Lacroix at the back. We need that aerial presence. Lacroix is what, 6'5". This is what we should be looking for because our midfielders are not tall at all. And yes, they're good, but they're kind of vertically challenged. And so we must have, I'm not saying all the players must be land of the giants, but this is the Premier League. Physicality matters. And if you don't have physicality, all the teams, especially the somewhat lesser teams, will play to that. They'll say, oh, they're all short. Look what they did to Chelsea a lot of the time. Oh, they're all tiny players, especially in defensive midfield. Let's take those long throws or keep putting the ball into the net. I mean, into the box. And many a time, people like Gusto, who couldn't head the ball for love nor money, would get beaten to the ball. And we lost a lot of games through lack of height. And that actually brings me to another thing. We all saw in the third place playoff, how mediocre Mike Mignon is. Robert Sanchez is a very good goalkeeper. The problem is if you don't let if you, he's a very good goalkeeper if you don't let him have to play out from the back. Once he has that choice to be able to send it long, he's a good keeper. He really is. And one of his strengths is he's able to come out and claim crosses. It helped us a lot last season because we were very short, especially in defensive midfield. And it helped when he was able to claim crosses. But, the goalkeeper can't do that alone. So we do need some tall players in the team. And I'm glad that hopefully this is a sign that we're beginning to address it because along with technical ability, we must look at physicality in this Chelsea purchases. That's why I'm a bit confused with this Chavaria guy that we're linked with because he's another little player and this is the Premier League. I mean, but we'll see.
Yeah, let me read the comments because a lot of them are here. Big up to DJ Says, big up guys, everyone asking about
Pick up,
where
DJ.
we got the money to sign Rogers from the sales of Santos Cucurella, George, and we raised 140 million, 100%. And also beside that, DJ, remember it's a new financial year. That means we can spend as much as we want, but again, we need to sell as well in order to balance the books. Uh, Purple Charles then says, "We will big up to you. What do we on give those owners chance made on no matter what? Uh, Nothing changed with those owners made. Still, blue art. We now sell to buy club made. They only got Rogers because of what? Xavi Alonso wanted him. What are your thoughts about that, Bob?
Yeah, I want to answer this. I in life, right? You can't be rigid. Nothing is that rigid. Whether we like it or not, these are the owners we have. These are the owners we have. And there's a saying, you cannot cut off your nose to spite your face. It's stupidity. Now, if they are showing that they are doing everything they can to change, to listen to the fans, and to try and rectify the mess that they have made, I think we have to be reasonable enough to be patient with it. I'm not saying like them. I'm not saying not, want them to move on at the right time. But what I'm saying is that the ultimate thing here is the well-being of Chelsea Football Club. I would like to think that we are dealing with people who just care about Chelsea. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care who you are. If you're doing right by Chelsea, if you're putting us back on the top perch that we belong, I'm not even looking at you. I'm just looking at the club. I mean, this 117 million is a massive statement of intent. Whether you like it or not, that is big boy stuff, and it means that they are doing what they can to get us back on the right footing. The attraction of Xavi Alonso itself is another big step, but we'll never know if it is the right step until he actually starts and goes through the season. But they are making attempts. They brought in Palestra. Nobody knows what he can do, but they've addressed that physicality side of things, technicality. He was apparently the best defender in Italy. You can only, as an ownership, do what you can do, which is make sure that the financial side and the player purchasing side and the club squad planning side is well taken care of. The rest now has to be down to the manager. And if we give the manager the tools, then he has the ingredients to cook. I don't get too hung up on all this, ownership discussion. unless they are going back to their stupid things like bringing in Rosania and that, I will keep my powder dry and pray and hope that Chelsea Football Club can be rectified back to its glory.
Thank you, Bobby. It says big up the chat by DJ Safe. Says smash the like and subscribe. 100%. Please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Also, give us your thoughts about Morgan Rogers. Look what I just sent you on X. I'll just check that now, bro. It says we made the money on selling players and still haven't sold the debt with. Yet we hope they get Alexa in and new goalkeeper mate. Yeah, but in terms of the debt, would Bobby like always mentioned this.
Yeah.
We rather get the players that we want first and get the after, because if you stick to that, players will teams will sneak in and get our targets. So I'm happy we
Yeah.
got Roger.
Yeah, it's very cutthroat, as you can see. You can't mess around in the transfer market too much. Especially for quality players, you need to be decisive, just like we were with Rogers. I hope we'll be like that with Lacroix. You've got to be able to put your money where your mouth is. That's just it. You can't be what shall I say, hesitant about player purchases. There's something else I wanted to say just now, and it's kind of gone out of my head. Oh gosh, what is it about? Uh, oh, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
Okay, Bobby. Oh my gosh, bravo! Just tell me something. Apparently, Xavi Alonso wanted Morgan Rogers when he was coaching Bayer Leverkusen as well. Oh my gosh! Wow. Clearly, this is the Xavi Alonso signing. And then remember, all the reports were saying that it's closer to Arsenal. They agreed personal terms. The only thing Arsenal will do is to get it done after the World Cup. Now, seems like Xavi Alonso told the board, said, "Now I want this guy." And Bali just went to the Aston Villa owner, gave me Morgan Rogers, how much it cost. And they told him 117 million pounds. He said, "Okay, take the money and give us your player." Simple as that. Oh man! Says congratulations to Rogers. We are happy for you. You come to Chelsea, fans. We are happy for you. I wish you good luck. 100%, 100%. Uh, it says on Rogers. That's a great signing. Those owners still have a lot to, especially in their first 4 year of being in charge. 100%. A lot of things they need to rectify. But again, I won't make noise or complain until the transfer window closes, because we still need to at least buy a left back and one solid center back. It says to convince a lot of Chelsea fans, 100% says the fact we still don't leave a proper front of shirt is still embarrassing. We need to fix that as well. I don't know why we are not fixing that. Just people forget we was in for Morgan Rogers last season. 100%. We are not linked to him from this summer. Even previous summers, we are linked to him.
Yeah, I mean that front of shirt sponsor is a very big thing. I don't know what's happening there, but clearly that's where not having European football matters, because your sponsor wants to be seen everywhere and as often as possible. And if you're just playing once a week in the Premier League and in the domestic cups, it's still something, but clearly they would want more, and the amount you would be able to get will be not as much. But there can be short term front of shirt sponsors, like we've often done. I think since Blueco took over, we've never had a long term front of shirt sponsor. So I think they will probably go along those lines again. Um, Look, the ownership is trying to appease the fans. I think this Morgan Rogers move is very much an Alonso thing, yes, very much showing a need to address the problems um, um, of the squad. But I think this is Egbali. I mean, he was personally involved with this. And we still haven't seen the guy signing and raising the shirt yet. That's because that's the thing that makes me say, okay, he's our player. I know that, the rumor out there is that he's already doing his medical, but I want to see him as our player. But that aside, this is him telling the fans that they're doing their best for us. And, when somebody makes that sort of gesture, I cool down a bit. I think we got to play a bit cool. Yes, we shouldn't be hoodwinked into believing and just accepting everything and anything. But if they're doing something that is going to benefit Chelsea Football Club, I keep my mouth shut a bit and just wait and see whether it's going to take us back to glory, which is ultimately all I personally want for the club.
100%. Since I agree with Bobby, will never lose their. The, I agree with Bobby. Will never lose their own players. Uh, Big up to Coachella says Arsenal fans are losing their minds 100% because the reports were saying Megan Rogers is the player that Mikel Arteta wanted, his number one priority. Now, Arsenal were so slow and then let Chelsea sneak in behind the scenes and got their number one target, and they couldn't even match our 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 fee that we asked for we paid for Morgan Rogers, but hopefully he passes medical, which is very important. Then it can be official our player. Says our owner needs to be ambitious and think about winning on the pitch rather just business. The model of signing young players was never going to be effective with Xavi on board and manager. 100%. I think we need to
Yeah.
mix it up. Look, look at PSG, Bobby. They are signing young
Yeah.
players, but again, they are signing established young players that can improve their players and their team immediately. Not blue code. They're going to sign some bunch of players that are going to develop, and then we sell them if they don't work out, which is not good for us as a Chelsea football club.
Yeah, I mean that reminds me of the point I wanted to make that I forgot. Yeah, you're right. I think they it's quite clear that they have seen that you've got to mix it up. It can't just be the players for business. You have to get the players for success, especially instant success. Now they've managed to kind of stick to their model of age as well as get players quote unquote for success because Morgan Rogers is only 23, Palestra is 21. So they've not really gone outside the box yet until perhaps Lacroix comes, who's 26. He's not particularly a granddad. And the only old player there would be Chevalier if he comes, who's 28. So they are learning. They are doing the right things. I mean, clearly they've made some sales. They still need to make some more sales, and I'm beginning to think perhaps the players like Pedro Neto. I'm thinking, how safe is he? Gusto certainly is on very shaky ground, as well as the likes of Badia Shield. I think they'll keep Tosun because he's very happy to be a squad player. But Badia Shield, Desasi, they have to go. For Fana, I don't think they can offload, and it is because they're going to have to keep Fafana that they will only bring in one centre back. People are saying, "Oh, there's going to be two." No, they're not. They will just bring in one because you've got Fafana there. You still have to develop Josh Achimpong. He's there to be developed and eventually used. So there's once Lacroix comes, I think that would be it for the centre back situation. But sales is quite important now. Garnacho definitely. Trouble is that is a sporting director debacle because I can't really see anybody coming to give them the money they paid for him. Um, Left to me, I would have sold Gittins as well, but it seems they want to keep hold of him, and there's no market for him because he's been injured. Ansel Mino, there's no point. He's injured all the time. I think he's still injured now. They've got to find a market for that guy and just sell him. I can't understand hanging on to him. Yes, the Dortmund was bigging him up, and maybe it was wrong to have taken him away from Dortmund because by now he could have been sold. So yeah, I mean there are players that are going to go. Um, has what's it? Tyreek George, has he gone? I think he has, hasn't he? He went to
Yeah,
Everton, didn't
yeah,
he?
he's gone. Yes, officially announced on the club website. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone to Everton. Then we're one of the strikers. Will Omega go back on loan? I don't know. Um, we're hearing
Yes,
rumbling that Jackson wants to stay, but then what does that mean for Delap? That is a big decision because he likes Delap. Everybody likes the lap's physicality, but as a striker, you've got to score goals. Now, he had one season where he was injured a lot, so who knows? But, compared to Jackson, Jackson is not a prolific scorer, but Jackson's work rate is second to none, and he makes goal scorers. Jackson made Palmer a better player because, he works for Palmer. So it's going to be a very difficult decision out there, but of the Jao Pedro is untouchable, but of the three, Jackson, Omega, and Delap, one will either be sold or loaned. Um, it's going to be interesting to see. I really have to leave that to him. That's where Alonso earns his money. But preseason will be important for him to see what he really wants in that area. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to make sales for sure, and we need to.
100%, Bobby. DJ says to back him all the way. 100%. We need to back Xavi Alonso. Says the current speaker is waffling. What is this name? Oh my gosh, Coachella is cooking you, Bobby. It says Bobby agree.
Big
Chelsea
up,
will.
Coach.
It says Bobby agree. Chelsea will never lose their pull on transfer market, but we still are signing kids. We need to leadership in the team. Like how is the one? I think we are making the right. It says Tebogo, what happened to the super chat? Oh, super chat button. Bro, remember what I told you about YouTube? So the demonetized my channel at the moment, so I need to work my SHIT back, and then hopefully YouTube can forgive me for what I don't know, because even now I'm trying to understand what happened. They're not even telling me. So hopefully after a few months, my channel will get back to business. Says Bobby, I
I agree.
agree.
I
Say
agree
again.
with Coach about the leadership thing. Definitely, Lacroix will bring that leadership aura into the team for sure.
100%. Then says Bobby, I agree with you. What saying, Bobby, my doubts, they have shown lack of ambition winning on the pitch, and that's why fans of myself, DJ, others have turned on them for that reason, signing young players. I think signing young players is not the issue. The issue is what kind of young players are we signing? Look at PSG. It's the perfect example. They have one sporting director, a campus, and he's doing fantastic. He's signing young players, but again, established young players that are improving PSG, and now they won back-to-back Champions League.
Yeah.
This simple.
You know,
Says hi. Say,
the one thing is clear. The currency of football is winning. Nothing else matters. You know, if you're not winning, you know, it's a winner takes all. It's like, you know, this World Cup we've just watched. The third place game is pointless. Nobody gives an shit for that game. You know, it's a wooden spoon. Nobody cares. Or if you go to the final and you don't win it, nobody cares. It's about winning. Football is a winner's industry. Winning gives you money. Winning appeases the fans. Winning puts you in neon lights. So let's not pretend, you know, all this stuff of, oh, we did data, we got this player, there's a, nobody gives a monkeys if you're not winning on the field. Neither do your sponsors, neither do your TV rights, nothing. You must be a winner. And I think the ownership is beginning to learn that.
100%, Bobby says, big up to Raymond. Says, hi, Blues. Uh, two, 293. Uh, how are you, Fikayo Timor? 50 million pounds now deal to Newcastle right away. Yes, from Ray. Okay, says Newcastle want Fikayo Timor. Okay, bro. Says hi, Chelsea perspective. How are you? Florian Balogun and Omari, Omar Mamouche, 60 million move deal. Balogun and Omar Mamouche to Newcastle, right? Yes, from Ray. Okay, says big up Ray, big up people, big up J, big up J. Um, okay, says hi, how are you? Buddy, should be let go and to Newcastle United right away. Yes, from Ray. Ray is on fire. Um, now you have an Arsenal fan says all the centre back Chelsea have not better than once linked to Chelsea. It's just a new shiny toy syndrome.
I want to
Well,
reply to this because I have a friend that's an Arsenal fan. And I'm like, what is it with Arsenal fans? You know, we live rent free in your mind. You're constantly thinking about Chelsea. We don't care about you. We don't even think about you. It's always Arsenal are always thinking about Chelsea. They're obsessed with us. They're so frightened of Chelsea. Everything we do, Chelsea this, Chelsea that, Chelsea this. I told my friend, I said, wow, so we really live rent free in your mind. You guys can't even sleep without thinking about Chelsea because, to be honest, Chelsea fans don't think of you half as much. And there you go. They come on Chelsea spaces. They're always hanging around. Do you know, I have never been to an Arsenal space. I think I went on one once. Is it AFC TV or whatever? For about 10 seconds. And I left. I have no interest in them whatsoever. But they everywhere Chelsea's doing something, they come in, they try and put all these poultry comments, and it's quite interesting, and it's also a bit amusing. I think you're on mute, Tobago.
oh, 100%, Bobby. I was just laughing and then I wanted to meet myself. I meet myself. Oh man, it says Lord, big up Coachella, bravo. Big up Jay, big up Jay. How are you, bro?
Big up, Torigo. Big up, Bobby. I'm fine. I'm doing good.
Yeah, big up, Jay.
According to the reports now from Sky Sports, Morgan Rogers has arrived for a Chelsea medical. The security personnel were trying to hide him from the camera. Overall, Jay, What are your thoughts about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea? I know the price tag we overpaid, but again, in terms of the player quality, what are your thoughts about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea?
Yeah, we talked about it last night, and incredible how things are moved so quickly. You know, how unexpectedly we came out of nowhere, and now we are pretty much close to, making it official. And if I ask Chelsea fans and even rivals as well, I think this is the best way and the best method to do a transfer. This used to happen a lot earlier under Roman Abramovich. Most of the deals came out of nowhere, and it happened like that only. Maybe it also depends on the, the development of social media and how Internet of Things and all those things used to work back then. It was in their early stages as well, so maybe it was down to that also. But incredible, really, really incredible. And talking about the player, look, obviously we have overpaid, and I don't think there is going to be any signing uh, in this particular window on which we can say, "Wow, look at the price tag. This is totally justified." I don't think there it can be any such signing, especially for the big six club. Every player you look around, and there is 20 or 30 million elevated fees for them, which has become the new normal. And so is the case for Rogers as well. He's a good player. He's a really, really talented player. At the age of 23, he's got good numbers as well. And he's got that game changing gene in himself as well. Something that we have been missing for a while now, especially in the position that he plays. So the talent is incredible. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, maybe around 80 million, 70 to 80 million is what I think should have been his fair price. But it was always going to be higher than the other midfielders or the other key targets that has went to Tottenham and Manchester City. I don't think it's a coincidence that he went for this transfer happened was 117 million and Henderson to City was 116 million. So the numeric value, just 1 million extra than that signing, I think it definitely was impacted by the other signings as well. So fair play to fair play to the board and the manager. From what we are hearing, and the manager had a big impact as well. And Villa always wanted, in and around 100 million or something more than that. They also knew that there is a 20% or 25% sell-on clause of Middlesbrough. So they always wanted the profit to be high so they can have much of it even after paying Middlesbrough the sell-on clause. So it was always going to be 100. And Arsenal being Arsenal, people actually talk about Chelsea, and we fans talk about Chelsea being penny pinching and holding out on fees. But the real club and the real board who, don't really engage in big transfers or take it really slowly when it comes to paying the triple digit figures or the bigger fees. That is Arsenal. They have been doing this. I think it happened with the Jeremy Monga deal earlier in the transfer window when City came out of nowhere and took the player, and also with Tonali and Anderson. I think they were also somewhat interested in those players, but Tottenham just came out of nowhere and were they were eager to pay 20, 30 million from what Arsenal wanted, and I think the same has happened with Morgan Rogers as well. Arsenal were trying to do it for a while now. I think they were building it slowly, 5, 10 millions on the upward trajectory. And I think they were close to 90 million, is what I'm hearing. And Villa and the players were getting frustrated, and rightly so as well. And then comes Chelsea. I think Chelsea knew I think the quickness, the fastness, and the suddenness of the deal in which we have proceeded. Also, I think it was impacted because we were anticipating, the final or bigger uh, bid by Arsenal, which was maybe going to be around 100 million. So I think the first bid we just went all in with extra 15, 20 millions, and that's how we reached the figure of 117 million. And I think that just blew everyone out of the water, and it was impossible for Arsenal to, just suddenly go 20 millions or 15 millions above what they were building in a very progressive manner. And I think that is where the news of Egbali being involved also comes in, because when amount is this big, and when you have to really uh, close a deal, I think that's where this bigger guy comes in. And I think we have a good relationship with Villa as well. Call it cheating, call it loopholes, doing deals among each other. I think that relationship was there, and I think that also helped us. But overall, that's how the financial part of the deal happened. And the player, look, at that particular fees, I think that particular fees you deserve, or any club deserve, a world class sign or one world class player. And in my humble opinion, I don't think Morgan Rogers is in the category of world class players. I think when you talk about world class, you get Olise, you get Vinicius Junior. These are the type of wingers. Even for Scalia, for that matter, Dembele. So he's not up there. He's not in that category, but the fees is definitely in that category. So that is one small disappointment I had, because if we are going to pay that fees, I thought we could get a name in the superstar category. But the good thing to be happy about is he's only 23, so the only trajectory is upward from him. So there is a bigger chances for him to reach the world class levels as well. And under Alonso, things can happen so smoothly and quickly as well. I actually had very less problem with him going to Arsenal, because I thought he was not a good fit for them. The the system and the position they wanted to play him was a typical left winger, and I didn't think that he would fit in that system. So it was a bad. Arsenal can be happy in that sense, because it was not a great fit for him to go to Arsenal and under that manager Arteta. The chances of him failing there or getting stagnant there was too much. But on the contrary, I think he fits Chelsea too much as well. So the system in which we want to play, the dual 10 behind the striker, the left half space 10, I think he suits that position really well, and this points more towards the fact that Alonso is definitely going to use that back three system a lot more. I think the Morgan Rogers signing kind of solidify that fact also. So yeah, but again, the talent is there, and I think we got one of the best player for that left half space 10, or the left forward. There were limited options in the market, and we got one of the best ones. Could we have improved on this? Look, the world class bracket was always open. We could have done that, but we could have done much worse than him as well, and could have signed another young kid as well, upcoming kid. The good thing about Rogers is he has those 2 years in his in his pockets, where he's gained the experience. He know the league very well. He's got numbers as well, double-digit numbers in both assist and goals as well. So that is going to help him a lot. So the most important thing that I look for a player or a signing in when he signs for Chelsea is how much time he's going to take to adjust to the team and to the league, and how much time would it take for him to impact the games for us. That is the number one factor, or number one thing that I personally look into a signing or a player. And the best thing about Rogers is he is going to impact. He is going to give impact for us from day one. He knows the league really well. He is totally adjusted here, and that is the best part about him. And the numbers and the talent we all know. So it's a really exciting signing, and I think it elevates the players around him also. The likes of João Pedro, he's going to get a lot of chances, because just like Palmer, Morgan Rogers creates a lot. He will put balls on the plate for any striker, and so I hopefully João Pedro is going to have an open buffet kind of meal, where Palmer and Rogers is going to give him chances after chances. So overall, I'm really happy. It's a statement signing, and it just shows the intent again of the club and the new manager Xabi Alonso. So he is definitely getting back as well. I think he talked to Xabi Alonso, and that made a very big impact. The type of football that Xavi wants to play, and the project, I think that gave Morgan Rogers a lot of confidence, and that is why it became more easy for him to pick us over Arsenal. So yeah, overall, really, really happy.
100%. So, according to Fabrizio Romano now, I just wanted to go back to the Arsenal fan now. Says Morgan Rogers was a top target for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta had direct conversation with him in recent months. So the player been a serious target for Arsenal. So uh, take a L and L and then move on. So we had some other news yesterday about Benito Gueva. Says Benito Gueva, who was served as a child set piece specialist for the two last, the last two seasons, will be taking on a different position under Bluco in more technical and adversary capacity. Among his responsibility, will carry a particular focus on set piece analysis, opposition preparation for a performance inside. Bobby, what are your thoughts about this? Because I remember Benito Cueva was always on the Chelsea bench with Mauricio Pochettino and Enzo Maresca. I mean,
Mm.
Enzo Maresca, not Pochettino, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think. You know, it depends on the plans Xavi Alonso has for that particular specialty. I'm not too sure what magic he did with Chelsea and set pieces. I know when he was at Brentford, he helped their set pieces a lot, but Brentford was the tallest side in the Premier League. So their height advantage also helped his job. With Chelsea, some of our set piece defending was dreadful. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that we're going to miss. I really don't know. Now, from what that report is saying, he's going to be more of a sort of fact finding person as far as set pieces are concerned than actually a set piece trainer. If it works, fine. You know, I'm not sure he'll be missed, to be honest. Maybe he will be, because before he came, set pieces wasn't great. After he came, did it improve much? That's arguable. But how much of that was influenced by the lack of height? I think that's considerable as well. So it's one of those. It's one of those. I can't really hang my hat on anything and say, oh, it's this or that, or oh, we're going to miss him or not. My current feeling is if Alonso has better plans, then so be it.
Jay, what are your thoughts, bro?
I'm really happy. It's a very small news, but it makes me really happy. Look, we have talked about the accountability side of this ownership a lot. How, mistakes are being done season after season, small and big mistakes. People literally spends a lot of money here, and especially the sporting director. And that is one part where I'm still not happy with them. There are a lot of improvements being done, and it is very much visible. But the accountability for the sporting director is something that has been missing for years now, and I haven't seen anything uh, that questions them again here. So it's good, a step in a positive direction where people in positions of the coaching department, of the sporting director, of the sporting department, where if you are not good at your job, if your season has not been great, if you're not producing results for what you have been brought here, then there is going to be a scrutiny. And I think it's just a few words for him for saying that you are being sacked. They are going to maybe move him to Strasbourg or somewhere else. but it's quite clear that they just kicked him out of the Chelsea's coaching department for sure. Maybe Alonso had a role in it because he has his own own coaching and sporting staff. But I think he could have, if he was good if he was good in his area, if the staff and the players were loving him, and he was integral, then I think it's very easy for him to be part of a member of new coaching staff because we have seen it. He has been part of two or three new coaching staff under the different managers that we have. But now I think this is the first time we are seeing that if you're bad at your job, uh, then there will be scrutiny, then there will be questions on you, and you may be removed from your job. So it's a very good intervention. I have been waiting for such positive directions in the sporting area, and hopefully many more to come after this, because that is a sign that we are using the no nonsense policy uh, inside the club on different levels. So it's a good thing. So I see a lot of positives in it. Hopefully, and going further in the next season or somewhere in the January transfer windows as well. We have a huge list of sporting directors. There are people, a team of 5 or 6 members who just are there for just increasing their salaries, who are increasing their contracts, and the job done by them has been questionable. So I hope the same scrutiny that has been applied on Bernardo Cueva, similar thing can be applied on, hierarchy upward in the list, like the sporting directors, especially Paul Winstanley and Lon Stewart. So if we are going to see similar things higher up in the hierarchy, then I think that will be even more remarkable. So I'm just expecting positive developments after seeing this particular news.
I'm not too sure about higher up. Um, they don't seem to be that interested in changing the sporting directors. But what I'm interested in is, will they have another look at the goalkeeping coach, Ben Roberts? I think in recent times he has been helping Sanchez, certainly in coming out to claim balls from crosses and corners and so on. So he might survive. But there was a time that it was questionable whether to continue with him because his persistence on Sanchez was getting a bit much. But we'll see. If he's still there, then it means he's obviously doing something that Alonso likes.
Yeah, Bobby, you're absolutely right. Actually forgot Ben Roberts as well. I think he's in a similar category as well, where the work that he has done, there are obviously some positives of what he has done. The improvement in Sanchez is quite visible since the last 1.5 season, and obviously he had some role to play in it. But for the major parts of his tenure here with Robert Sanchez, I think he was struggling a lot, and the unwavering support where his position was under no scrutiny and he was just starting games after games, and he was working with him, then obviously questions will be held on the coaching staff who are involved in the goalkeeping part of the club. So he should be under same question marks and scrutiny. And well, this is just, as I repeated, this is just a positive development. That means that, and Alonso is being involved in this type of stuff also, and he might be giving his verdict or his opinions on these people who have been here at the club for a few seasons now. I think he is giving some his own verdict on him, and they might be listening to it as well. So if in future we are going to part our ways with Robert Sanchez, it's not going to be this season, but in the further seasons, especially it depends on the development of Mike Penders. So I think then if Sanchez goes, then there is a chance that maybe that would be the time for Ben Roberts to also leave the club.
Let me just read the comment. Says big up to Maza, by the way. Says All we need now is get rid of Robert Sanchez and Roberts and go get Diego Costa. Well, it's up to the club, but again, I always say this: I don't think Robert Sanchez is our biggest issue at Chelsea. But if Xavi Alonso want a new goalkeeper, that means we need to sell Robert Sanchez and Philip Jorgensen as well. But again, seems like Mike
Yeah.
Penders. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Philip Jorgensen is definitely going to move on, but I don't see Chelsea going for Diogo Costa simply because Diogo Costa is quite young and they're trying to make a pathway for Penders. Sanchez is not particularly old either, but if there's any successor to Sanchez, it will be Mike Penders if he can cut the mustard. So I don't think Diogo Costa is really a possibility because Chelsea are working on a succession plan, and I suspect that Xavi Alonso is on board with that plan. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I say the same thing. I don't see us signing a goalkeeper this summer. Uh, will be shocking unless we're going to set Mike Pandas. And then also, what happened to Timo Kota, we should be careful as well because we loaned him to Atletico Madrid 2 seasons and he loved the city, got a girlfriend there, and he wanted to go back there. Unfortunately, Real Madrid were so aggressive, they end up poaching him, and Chelsea fans call him some names, snakes, and everything, which was not good. So I think we should be careful. We should learn from that. Master says elite players for an elite team, the starting 11 needs if you're going to challenge for the Premier League. I agree with you, 100%. But again, it's up to the club, and Bobby just mentioned it with Robert Sanchez. Says the problem Chelsea got is no one wants Sanchez. Uh, is a homegrown player. Alonso has massive revelation about him and about Rob too, and one an elite goalkeeper, easy to get rid of. Philip Jorgensen at the minute. And then he says they're trying to sign Diego Costa from Porto around 34 to 40. No, actually, Porto asking for 60 million for him. Since long time ago, 60 million. So I don't see us signing Robert Sanchez, bro. Uh, I mean, uh, I mean, Diego Costa, I'm saying. So let's move to other topics. Says Chelsea have now held formal talks with Crystal Palace over the move for Maxwell Lecoq. Palace Valley, the French centre back, at least 55 million pounds. Jay, what are your thoughts? Do you think this move uh, will fast track after the World Cup is ended? Jay, okay,
Yeah, hopefully. Can you hear me?
yeah, 100%.
Um, hopefully. That's the idea, that's the thought behind it, that the delay, in negotiations and the stop and the pause in negotiations was because of World Cup. Obviously, when a player is playing at the World Cup, clubs tend to wait for it because, when an ongoing player is playing, there is a chances of injuries as well, and you don't want to make decisions and do a deal for a player who is under the threat of injuries anytime, and that can impact the whole decision on making the signing or not. So now that he's free from the World Cup, I think I expect the negotiations to smooth out and happen quite quickly and move forward. I'm not saying that the deal can be done, but at least some decisions whether he is going to come here or not, or if Palace are asking too much and we are just not going to give them that amount, just like what happened with uh, Zaka. So early and quick decision on a deal, that is something very important. Whether we are going to sign him or not, just make a quick decision so that we can move on to the next target, and even the club can make some decisions for the future. But most the chances are that the deal might now proceed quickly, and there can be some middle. ground where both the club can reach a final decision. Personally, I don't feel that 50 to 55 million is too much money for him. I think that's the market. Again, we have seen Van Hecke, going for similar amount and even more. There has been other defenders as well. The market is like this only, and we are not talking about any, old guy who's in his 30 years or who is on his decline as well. This is a prime defender who's most possibly going to enter his prime now at the age of 26 as well. So, so I think the price is somewhat fair, and he is going to come to the club and directly pick one of the slots. If we are playing a back three, then I expect him to be a regular center back. Uh, Obviously, he has his deficiencies, but he has his good spot. He has his good parts as well. He's not your typical ball playing center back, the modern typical, who's going to be front footed and uh, be involved in attacks and maybe even initiate attacks. But he's your more physically dominant defenders who the good areas are his. He's really good in the air, which is something that we have been lacking for quite a few seasons now, and he will increase the physicality of the side overall, and especially their defense. So these are some of the parts which are being associated with a typical defender, a traditional defender, and I think he is going to bring those areas, improve those areas for the club. And yeah, I think if a quick decision can be made on him, then maybe we can go on sign him early on for Xavi Alonso, so he can join the training under him or the preseason under him quickly. Or if he's not going to come, then we can move on to the next target. So a quick decision is something we need to do.
100%. Before I go to Bobby, DJ saves Palace 160 million for Lacoste. According to reports, we have offered 55. Arsenal will offer the 60 million for him. The only good news about the deal, the player wants Chelsea. And also, but in terms of Arsenal, if he goes to Arsenal, he knows he's going to play for a few months, and then when Saliba is back, he's going to be a bench player. And then it says experience expensive for a center for a center back, especially Saliba is no better than Chalabao, and we want 30 million for him. I don't think it's expensive, just like Jay just mentioned. But overall, what are your thoughts about the player? Do you think the deal
Yeah.
will get done?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. First of all, I want to address Saliba to Arsenal. I think that's sort of Chelsea fans. We always have detractors in everything we do. I'm not saying it's not possible, but Saliba to Arsenal would be a very stupid move on the behalf of sorry, Lacroix to Arsenal would be a very stupid move on the behalf of Lacroix. Very stupid move. Saliba is always going to be their first choice. And once he's fit and ready and well, which apparently will not be for at least a month or two, Lacroix will find himself on the bench. He's not a priority. What Arsenal could do well with is maybe picking up somebody like John Stones as a stopgap. I don't want to give away good advice to them, but that's the sort of person they should need to cover for Saliba. Lacroix is a top quality starting centre back who, for Chelsea, it's about balance. You don't have to be this all round centre back to be successful. Need someone. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Bobby.
Oh, sorry, because when someone calls, it always cuts off.
Yeah, he
Um,
cut out and then he went back.
okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, you need balance in your centre back pairing. I go way back. I remember the days of Desai and Leboeuf. Desai, yes, he was fantastic. He could actually play as a midfielder. but he brought that ruggedness and the physicality and the aerial prowess. And Leboeuf was silky skills, could spray the ball around, less physicality, less aerial prowess, but was the passer from the back. More recently, the likes of Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. Silva, the thinker, the passer of the ball. Rudiger, the ruggedness, the aerial prowess, the fighter. The physicality. You need that, and to have somebody like Lacroix alongside Levi Colwell. Colwell is not a slouch. He's not. He doesn't lack physicality, but Lacroix would be that rock to allow him to be able to use his passing skills, his skills in being able to move forward. And indeed, whenever we have him, we have Achipong playing, the same could apply as well. Lacroix, he's brought in for that physicality. He's not bad on the ball either, and he's not slow, and he's definitely good in the air. I think he's a better fit for Chelsea than any other of these top clubs, and he will definitely be a guaranteed starter. So yeah, I hope it goes through. My understanding, the last I heard, was that we were 3 million apart, and the conversation is continuing. I hope it gets done now because the conversation has been going on for a long time. Yes, because of the World Cup, but now World Cup is done, players are back. It needs to be done now. All these World Cup stars, especially those that went on to the later phases, England, France, Argentine, and Spanish players, they're not going to be back in preseason till much, much later. If you're lucky, you see them perhaps the last week of preseason, which isn't ideal, but because the Premier League season starts what, 19th of August? So it's not too far away. So yeah, I mean, he needs to be done. He needs to be settled. He needs to go off on holiday, recuperate, and come back and join Chelsea. Let's hope they do it because he's definitely what Chelsea needs.
100% Bobby. And then we have the news says Chelsea don't want Enzo to be lucky. The Blues plan is and always has been for the Argentine link with the rest of the squad once the break is over. But overall, in terms of Enzo Fernandez, a lot of news have been moving around. Chelsea at the moment stand their stance. If you want him, you have to pay what we're asking for, which is 120 million pounds. So I think as Chelsea fans at the moment, no matter what we're going to read from now on until the end of the transfer window, just don't be emotional because it's part of the transfer window, and this might drag until the last hours of the transfer window, Bobby. So
Yeah,
overall,
Tobago, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Enzo stays. Look, the market we've all established is already an inflated market. This is a guy that has 7 years of contract left. We paid 106 million for him. There is no way on this planet that Chelsea should allow him to go for anything less than 120. So everybody else should put up or shut up. And I'm glad that they're taking this attitude because it's common sense. We didn't buy him with 106 million pounds to just give him away. It's insane. So that's not happening. Enzo, he has to. I personally believe the solution is they'll come back and he'll end up signing the contract that's on the table for him already, maybe with a little bit more money added to it. But there's no chance. You can't. It would. I mean, this ownership is already in the mud as it is. They don't want to look even more stupid by selling Enzo Fernandez for anything less than 120 million. If anybody wants him that badly, they know the price. It's that simple.
Jay, what are your thoughts about the Enzo Fernandez situation? Do you think he stays at Chelsea or most likely to leave Chelsea? And well said, Bobby. 100% spot on.
The likelihood of him staying, is now looking more and more. Uh, just on the fact that I don't see any club uh, coming out and meeting the valuation that Chelsea demands. And I think the price tag is fair. The transfers that we have been seeing around us, I think 120 million or something, close to 5 million plus minus. I think that is quite a fair price for Enzo Fernandez. And we should absolutely not budge from that price. And I haven't seen any signs or any news where they are considering to lower this price. So I won't be fearing anything on that part that they are actually, trying to sell him so badly that they might reduce the price by 10, 15 million. I think the price is absolutely fair. But the chances of any club, any big club coming out, Real Madrid and Manchester City, or even Atletico Madrid, and paying that price now is very slim. Um, he's a very unique profile in the midfield, and he offers something different. And I think the team needs to be playing some very specific type of football, especially in the midfield structure. Only then he can fit perfectly and can contribute, equally to the defense and the attack. And it's hard to find that fit. We have been seeing this problem at Chelsea as well, that the issues when he is in the lineup, especially, it's not like he's a bad player, but the pivot of him and Caicedo is problematic, is going to be problematic as well in the coming season. I think our midfield was the most important and most powerful area uh, when people used to talk about our team. And even for Chelsea fans, us also believe that the midfield is where we have one of the best midfield in England, and I would say in Europe as well. Considering the players that starts for us and the midfield depth as well. That was including Andre Santos. But now, you know, I think there is a problem. We have actually improved other areas and maybe hopefully going to improve the defense as well. It's the midfield. If Enzo ends up staying, he's a good player, but the combination of him and Caicedo as a pivot in Alonso's system is very much problematic, and it's going to cause a lot of thinking and issues to Alonso because there will be chances that both of them are not your typical number six who stays and can defend anything. Both of them have an issue. Caicedo is more of a box-to-box eight, and Enzo as a six. We have seen even last night as well. Enzo as a six just does not work. He can contribute on the ball a lot, but then out of possession, he lacks a lot, and the team is in so much disadvantage when you got Enzo as your six out of possession. I think similar issues could be there under Alonso as well if this is the pivot that we are going to use coming next season. And there's no way you are going to put 120 or 110 million players on the bench. They have to start. If he ends up staying, then he has to start in the lineup for us next season. Again, I will repeat, he's a very good player. He brings a lot. He is a world class player, obviously a World Cup winner with Argentina, and now have reached a final as well. He has those crucial goals in his game as well. His passing range is quite good as well, but then again he lacks a lot as well. For me, it's a big headache, and yeah, but that does not mean that we have to forcefully sell him for any price. We absolutely have to keep him and I think maybe January window or the next season we can have a better look. Alonso can have a better look and how he's going to fit in his structure and in his lineup. But till then, we have to just wait and watch. And yeah, just one more part. We can't really blame the fans for being angry on him. It's not like the fans love to hate him. Yes, there is a section of fan base who always jumps on his case and are always critical of him. But then again, he does not help his case as well. Unlike me and others who are very much neutral, who wants to support the team and support the player. But if you're going to do BS like Enzo and his agent has been doing, if you're going to disrespect the club in the transfer window, then you do not simply expect the fans to be happy and just shut up and uh, do nothing about it. It's obviously going to hurt us. The priority is the club, and if some player is going to, disrespect the club on different levels, then the fans have every right to be angry about it. So yeah, that's the part where I by where I stand on this Enzo case. It is one of the most, it will be the one of the most talked about issues, or talked about debate while we further go on at the end of the transfer window. This is something where the eyes needs to be, and I think we will be talking about him a lot in the next few weeks.
Spot on. And Maza says everyone has reservation about Cowell has uh, a bit weak, show poor defending the left half space, great passer, um, poor defending in left half space, great passer through one of the future. Hato is potentially better fit for a left center back. And he also says only naive fan would want Enzo to leave two back World Cup finals. Only 23 years. I think it's 25 now. One of the best midfielders in the business. According to TGSF's exclusive, Morgan Rogers' weekly wages at Chelsea are said to be around 150k for now, rising to 170, 200 to 200k if Chelsea qualify for the Champions League. Bobby, what are your thoughts about this?
Um, yeah, I mean, that sounds, as far as the wages are concerned, that's more than reasonable for a 117 million pound player. I have to revert back to this Enzo conversation. I agree with everything Jay has said. It's quite sound and it makes a lot of sense. Um, Time will tell. Another thing is that there's also Lavia. We don't know how fit he's going to be this season because he is a six, as it were, and certainly as Sugo. The good thing about our midfielders is that they can play anywhere in midfield. Spoiler, six, box to box, whatever. Some play different positions better than others, but it's an interesting thing. The thing I don't like about Enzo Fernandez is this idea that he courts a lot of noise and controversy. Last season it was the rubbish they were doing on the bus, some racist song, and I don't want that for Chelsea this season. I don't want to hear any scandal. I don't want to hear any of this sort of sacking of coaches. I'm sick of that shit. Excuse my language. I'm so sick of it. Oh, it's this, it's that, or this player is injured, won't be back till this, and there's always something. Let us have a season of just football. That's what it's there for. I'm tired of it. So, this is what annoys me about Enzo. All this scandal, talking to Madrid. Now he's having Madrid unprecedentedly putting out a statement that they don't want him, all this kind of thing. You go to the effort to the World Cup final, you got a red card, you're making gestures at fans, which can be interpreted as an insult to English fans. And clearly, you can see that when he goes to away stadiums, this is going to be an issue. It's that sort of thing I don't like about Enzo Fernandez. Let's just keep it on the pitch. Do your talking with your football. I get Jay's point about the two sixes. I don't know. That's where the manager comes in. He will know what he's going to do with that if Enzo stays, which is very, very likely. Yeah, I mean, let's see. But as far as Morgan Rogers' wages is concerned, it has to be that way. It's quite fortunate that it's within reason, and it's not like he's earning big wages straight away, but he's earning a reasonable sized wage for a marquee signing. Now he has to deliver on the pitch and get us back that money with Champions League qualification.
Jay, what are your thoughts, bro? Because I remember he signed a new contract. He was earning similar money at Aston Villa. So clearly, this was not about the money. It was about the project and then where can he fit the Chelsea. So overall, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the wage structure is something, which was always going to be under 200K. We have a very, very fixed structure and not a lot, if any, player, any new signing. I don't remember actually a new signing or a big signing actually who's straightforwardly, breaching the 200K mark. It was being said earlier in the earlier seasons that there is always room for one superstar signing, marquee signing, where they will not think about the wage structure. It can be one or two players, but I haven't seen those players actually, being signed. It has always been on paper. And Morgan Rogers, as you mentioned, also in the 150, 170 category as well, which is well within our structure. And that makes, I think that also explains why they went so hard on this deal and paid the 117 million fee for him because he must have agreed to, be in the wage structure. And that is another interesting thing and which you know what I like. It's funny how we're talking about Enzo Fernandez, to and now to Morgan Rogers. This guy from the D looks like he wants us. He has chosen us, and he has ignored multiple things which could have been better at Arsenal, including the wage structure. In Arsenal definitely would have given him 250K to 300K, something in between that. Well, that's what they have done with Kai Havertz when they signed him from us. So they would have definitely paid much more, much more higher wages than us. And I think he has ignored that. He has taken this reduction in wages or the improvement that it's definitely an improvement from what he was getting at Villa, but he could have expanded it to double or even three times, which he has ignored it for Chelsea. So I like this fact because he has agreed to stay in the structure. That just shows how much he wants to come here. And I love players who wants to stay here, who wants to come here, and who are willing to ignore, some potential benefits just for the sake of playing for this club. These are the type of players that we want. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this news if this is indeed truthful. Um, don't want to actually go back on the Enzo thing, but yeah, just on the willingness to play for the club, that's where some fans have a problem. The it would be going in circles, so I don't really want to go on the Enzo subject, but yeah, you can kind of understand the point why the fans are being frustrated with him. And as Bobby mentioned, we actually want to do him the talking on the pitch. I really want to support him. I really want to back him. Defend him against criticism. All the fans wants to do it. The majority of sane and positive fans want to do that. But then this guy brings or brought stuff or criticism on himself, and the fans just can't help it. It feels like there are some personalities of players, like your Rashford at Manchester United, your Garnacho at United. There are some few players who always are in the controversies. Who each season there you will see them surrounded by one major, stuff of criticism before the start of a season. So it's like they want it. This immaturity of immaturity side of a player is also something that we need to talk about when we are making some signings because we can't really have personalities like this around the club who constantly each year have a new debate which has nothing to do about how they are performing on the pitch. It's all off the field matter, which is not good for the club and for the rest of the squad as well. So this is something that we should be, willing to avoid with new future signings.
100%. Let me just read the comment and then we talk about while Paul Mason is waffling about. It says, I wish we sell Liam Delap, Jackson, Guhi, Fofana, and get Victor Osman. That's serious competition for a striker. 100%, but again, I don't think we are going to send a new striker. Totally agree with you, Maza. Since Argentina was dirty yesterday, 100%, I agree with you. But again, let's move on from the World Cup. According to Paul Mason, says I just can't see where Morgan Rogers play at Chelsea. It's a lot of money, crazy money, bringing Morgan Rogers in for 117 million pounds. Million isn't what Chelsea needed. That's they got Kopama, they play in the same position. Bobby, what are your thoughts about this?
Don't listen to that idiot. What's his name? Paul Merson. He's an idiot. He pretends to be a Chelsea fan, but he's not.
Exactly.
He's 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 an Arsenal fan. He played for Arsenal. He's always speaking for Arsenal. What do you mean you don't see where Morgan Rogers will play? It's very obvious where he's going to play. That's the reason he came to Chelsea. He came to Chelsea because he's going to play, unlike at Arsenal, where he's likely to be on the bench. So that's absolute nonsense. That's what I say. We live rent free in the minds of these Arsenal fans. They're always coming and they spend so much mental energy trying to find ways to have digs at the things Chelsea do or anything about Chelsea. Some of them they go as far as to pretend to be Chelsea fans, whereas really they're Arsenal fans. Paul Merson was an Arsenal player. He's an Arsenal fan, and all this nonsense. I don't know why he tries to tell people he's a Chelsea fan. He's absolutely not. He's never said a good thing about Chelsea in his entire career as a player and as a pundit.
100%. Jay, what are your thoughts, bro? I agree with Bobby. This guy is waffling.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely nonsense. And it's remarkable that he considers himself to be a Chelsea fan, while 99% of the times I have only seen bad stuff about Chelsea from his mouth. So doesn't really fit the criteria as a Chelsea fan. And it's just nonsense. I mean, look at the type of stuff that he's asking. I just can't see where Morgan Rogers play. Pretty obvious. We are going to play a back three system most of the times. We also have an option of back four system, but in the back three system, we needs two tens behind João Pedro, and especially on the left-sided end with Cole Palmer. And he is a perfect player to go and stick in that left half space ten. So I don't know why he's asking where he's going to play. These are basic questions that even very new fans or new to football fans know. So these pundits are asking silly questions which are quite easy, or maybe they do it willingly to create tensions or divide the fan base. I don't know. But as Bobby said, this person should not be taken seriously. And these are the type of question that he is asking.
Hello, guys. Please kindly like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. According to Metro, says Aston Villa retained an interest in Chelsea forward Nicholas Jackson, who previously played under Umeria at Villarreal and was a loan. He was on loan at Bayern Munich last summer. Bobby, do you see this deal happening because of the two relationships between Chelsea and Aston Villa? Do you see potential Nicholas Jackson leaving Chelsea, as we have already five strikers? So I don't see we have enough space for everyone. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be a striker sale at least for sure. But we keep hearing this Nicholas Jackson, Unai Emery, Aston Villa tale. We were hearing this last season and it's come up again. And it seems very odd to me. Well, time will tell. because they certainly have the money. So I don't know. I don't know how serious it is. Yet again, it's this social media and media thing where people put their thoughts out as if it's actuality, whereas it's not. You know, we were hearing for months Rogers to Arsenal was a done deal. You know, there's so many things. We were hearing Tonali to Man United as a done deal. We were hearing what's the Portuguese guy to Man United as a done deal, and none of these things were true. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. Um, as far as I am aware at the moment, Jackson wants to stay. Whether that happens, time will tell, and his performances in pre-season will tell as well. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. Sorry, I don't have any value to it until they actually make a bid.
Jay, what about you, bro?
We've got a striker problem, definitely, because we've got too many strikers, and some of them are not good enough. So there, as Bobby said, there will be surely at least one sale of a striker, and potentially two. So it's a question of who we want to keep and who we need to sell now. Just based on numbers and Premier League experience.
Yeah, we still
Uh,
have Mark Guehi
uh,
to sell as well. Another one.
exactly. Yeah, maybe he will go on loan. I don't know if we can, bring some profit on him. Won't be that much of a profit, but I think potentially a loan is something good for Margu. Now, I think the major question is between Delap and Jackson. Emega, I think is definitely going to stay. It doesn't make any sense for for the ownership to bring him from Strasbourg and then just put him on loan somewhere else. Potentially, he can go somewhere else. There are chances. I think uh, the major impact will be played by the preseason. I think Alonso will have a better look on all these strikers. João Pedro is obviously the locked striker who is locked in as our number one, and he's going to start most of the games next season. So will you keep Emega as your number two, or you keep Jackson as your number two? Now, Jackson is a very versatile profile. He can fit in and play multiple roles. He has brilliant interconnectivity or link ups with players like Cole Palmer, and he's got good numbers in the Premier League as well, especially his first season. So whether you keep him, obviously the downside of keeping Jackson is you have to play him as a striker, and the most important thing about a striker is how well you are in front of goal, how efficient you are. He's got good numbers, decent numbers, but then again, the chances missed by him, and his inefficiency to convert goals is remarkably high as well. So, do you really want a player like him, who's who is quite inefficient in front of the goal? But he can, play multiple roles. He can be your backup or an option for Morgan Rogers as well. If he is, being subbed off, or if some days Morgan Rogers get injured, Jackson can perfectly, slide in as that left half space 10. So that is where I favor Jackson because he is very versatile and can play multiple positions, and he has a history of link up with Cole Palmer and other players. Dilap has a really, really bad season last season. His numbers are really bad, and I think he suits a very specific type of football, which we saw at Ipswich Town, where you're playing for a lower side, where you are going to get spaces, where you are going to get chances on counters as well. I just don't see how he's going to adapt again to Alonso's football, which is very much similar to how Maresca used to play on basic principles. So for Delap to actually, suddenly become something else and just starting putting on goals, I think it's hard to see that possibility, especially this quick. So for me, Delap is the one that I would personally make a sale on, and I would keep both Omega and Jackson. But that is going to hamper Emega's development because as a third choice striker, he's not going to play many matches, in if any matches, because we've got no European football as well. So that is a headache. There is already very less football to be played. So we have to make a decision, and it's a really hard choice. For me, Dilap definitely needs to go, and I think it's a choice between Emega and Jackson, whether you put Emega on loan and keep Jackson, or you keep Emega as the second choice striker and just sell both Jackson and Delap. Jackson is going to fetch you good money as well. He is the one in demand as well. So there are these variables and these permutations and combinations that needs to be kept on mind before making any decision. And I think this is another part which is going to be very interesting coming the end of weeks of the transfer window.
Yeah, 100%. Says
I think.
Enzo needs. Go ahead, bro.
So, yeah, I was going to say, I think the interesting thing about the strikers is that none of them cost that much money. If anything, Jackson cost the most money. Remember, we got Delap for 30 million because of the relegation clause. We got Gui for 5 million. Don't know how much Omega cost us, if anything. And yeah, I mean, it won't take much to make a profit, and they're not strikers that nobody would want. There's always going to be somebody that would, especially in the Premier League, that would want Delap or would want Jackson or indeed Gui, Mark Gui. So, and Mark Gui, we only got him for £5 million, so it won't be much. He's not going to be hard pressed to make a profit on him. So the selling shouldn't be too difficult. The rate limiting step should be, as Jay says, who is more potent in front of goal. Now, Delap claims that he can make up for his bad season last season, this season. That's left to be seen. Mark Gui, well, he's being somewhat inconsistent, but when you consider that he's only 19, maybe 20 years old now, can you fault him for that? Omega, is left to be seen what he can do in the Premier League. And Jackson, he's a poor finisher, but his all round play is second to none. It's a very difficult choice, and it has to come right down to what Alonso wants, what he can fit into his system. And if I'm really honest, at this point in time, I would say of all of them, it looks more to me that he will end up keeping Jackson than anyone else. That's just how I see it. I don't really, and I'm, without bias or without anything, I'm just saying practically, I'm looking at it thinking this guy will find more use out of Jackson despite his inability to score than the others. But as I've said, he's working with them every day. He's seen them he's going to see them in preseason. I think they've played two behind closed door games already. It's going to be an interesting outcome. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does.
100%. CN says Enzo Fernandez needs to go. That's the only hope right now. It's up to the club and Enzo. Unfortunately, it says apparently article I read, Paul Mason is worried about Esteval Quenda. He thinks the development will be ruined. All your takes on those comments. What
You,
is
you see what I'm you see what I'm saying? He's always throwing little darts. Oh, seeds of doubt. Oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Oh, this can't happen. Oh, this. That's not the mind of a Chelsea fan. That is the mind of an Arsenal fan who Chelsea lives rent free in their mind. He doesn't want the best for Chelsea because that sort of statement is absolutely horse dunk. Esteval is going to be 19. We saw what happened to him last season. You can't play him game in, game out. He's still being blooded into English football and the Premier League, and he will do well. Quenda is left to be seen what he can do. Gittins quite clearly is not going to be a starting player. So these guys are going to be on and off the bench, starting some games, maybe not starting the other as we go along. The player that I think is at risk, I really, really think is at risk, is Pedro Neto. I'm not sure he's going to have a future with this Alonso side. I don't know. Alonso will be looking at his body of work. If he feels he can work with him because of his experience and so on, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's sold.
100%. It says, okay, he read about it. It says, Robert Sanchez needs to. Why is this guy hard to get rid of? It's not that simple. It says Aston Villa are much interested in Nicholas Jackson. So according to Telegraph, says there's no suggestion that the arrival of Morgan Rogers could lead to exit of Cole Palmer, who is considered one of the few untouchable players. 100%. We need best players at Chelsea. We always had best players at Chelsea. I remember we used to have Deco, Ballack, Lampard, ACN, you name them. We used to have best players every position. So no way we're going to sell Cole Palmer because of the Morgan Rogers issue. And also they say this Malo Gusto is believed to be considered his future Chelsea. Overall, Jay, what are your thoughts about what I've said on those two news items that I just read?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
What are your thoughts about Malo Gusto's considering his future Chelsea, and also signing Morgan Rogers doesn't affect Cole Palmer leaving Chelsea?
No, no, absolutely. Morgan Rogers affecting Cole Palmer, it's BS. The same way Paul mentions comments about Estivao and Quenda's development. If we are, going to back at the highest level, going to compete on multiple fronts, winning the majors, then we need to have a squad who is capable of, producing greatness from each player, and we need starter level quality from players on each positions from the bench as well. So you know two players who can start for any other club to be competing, and these are the type of lowering the standards we have seen in the last few seasons where we have one good player and then there's nothing from the bench, and we need to be back at the higher if we are going to be back at the highest level, playing European football, Champions League, winning Premier League, competing for the Premier League. Then we need to have a squad who has a great strength from the bench, starting level quality from the bench. And for that, you need players like that. Estuao had a good season in my eyes. He obviously hampered by injuries, but I think he's only going to improve this season with time. And so is with Quenda as well. He's going to play as an attacker. He is also going to be play as a wingback, so there will be opportunities for him under Xavi Alonso. So I think there is no issues of lack of or hampering of development for these players. Same goes for Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers. It's not even about, like they are going to play in similar position. I don't know how many times we need to explain that we are going to play the back three a lot of the times, and for that back three we need two tens, one right hand side and one left hand side. They are not going to be your typical touchline wingers. They need to be half space player, and Palmer and Morgan Rogers are exactly those, and they both can start together. You are not going to pay 120 million for a player to be a backup of Cole Palmer. It absolutely makes no sense. So both of them are going to start together, and when we are going to change the system to a back four, then I think even then they can play together as well from the right wing and from the left wing, with the fullbacks giving them, for uh, giving them more opportunities to slide more inwards to the pitch. So I don't think that's the case. Yeah, there is a few doubts about Joss and other players like Emega and Joss, but similar thing cannot be said about Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, and Esteban Quenda. They are all going to get ample opportunities here. And we are not out of the Champions League or European football for a longer time. We are going to get back to it, and ideally, and we must next season. So then it won't. These all questions will not even make sense because for Champions League you need this type of squad, even maybe improve on this squad. So I don't really have problems over what a lot of these guys whether they are going to get opportunities or not. Everyone will have their fair share coming this next season. Malo Gusto, um, this is another interesting case. I think ideally he should leave. I think the club also wants him to leave. The signing of Palestra, I think, was very much significant, and it hinted that we are ready to actually part our ways with Malo Gusto. Maybe we are not eager to sell him, but that signing confirmed to me that if Malo Gusto is to be sold, they already have a backup. And the problem is with the price tag. I don't know in what world Malo Gusto is going to fetch 75 million pounds. That's not going to happen. No club is going to pay that. Uh, we have to definitely reduce that fees if we are going to sell it. I expect Manchester City, via the interest of Enzo Maresca to come back and explore this deal. Initially, it has been said that they are just not going to go over 40 or 45 millions. But I think and a middle point can be reached where both clubs are um, ready to meet in between. So maybe around 55 or 60 million, this deal can be done. And I think it could be better for Malo Gusto to leave as well. And I see chances for him to leave just on the pure fact that Palestra is here as well. We got Josh Chimpong and we got Reece James as well. So we got three players for most, three players for what, two positions at max. If Reece James is going to play as a right center back and a back three, then as a wing back, I think Palestra would be the first choice. I think they have obviously, again, just like Morgan Rogers, they have put in certain funds. What 55 or 60 millions for Palestra is not going to come and be a backup. So Malo Gusto is definitely not going to have the same amount of games that he had previously under Maresca. So I think both the player and the club would ideally want this deal to happen, and he should be leaving this. Ideally, I expect him to leave not for 75 guaranteed, but maybe around 55, 60. I expect him to leave. But this one may go right down to the deadline of the transfer window. This is not going to happen, or we are not going to hear any news regarding it in the next 1 or 2 weeks.
100%. Now to Bobby says Alejandro Garnacho is expected to leave if Chelsea hoping to receive more for Malo Gusto, who's believed to be considered his future. What are your thoughts, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, Malo Gusto, I'm surprised at him. I think he's not a player that really is in a position to be opening his mouth too much. He hasn't exactly ripped up trees. And I agree with Jay. Although Palestra is left to be seen and is relatively unknown in terms of the Premier League, I think his purchase is an indicator of, Chelsea's willingness to let Mallow go. Um, 75 million might be a stretch. Who knows? But yet again, look at social media. There's all this talk. Oh, Maresca wants Mallow. Maresca, where are you? A lot of people are just pushing things out there that aren't necessarily true. I think the club will be willing to sell him. But before you can sell, you have to have someone willing to buy. There must be a market out there for him because he's not a bad player. and he's a player that's very versatile. He can go into midfield, and he has a bit of forward pace about him. So let's see what happens. I think they will be happy to sell him. As for Garnacho, I think it's well documented what I think about Garnacho. If you were Paul Merson, I would ask him and his beloved Arsenal to take Garnacho. Garnacho definitely has to be sold. The trouble is, it's another sporting director's mistake because they spent in excess of 40 million on this guy. I don't know who's going to come with that money to take him. But clearly he has no future at Chelsea, and he and his camp need to get on with organizing a sale that will see him move on because he's not going to play football at Stamford Bridge anymore.
100%, Bobby. I think we covered a lot. I stayed for over 2 hours. Hopefully, I can do another one in the next few days to talk more about Chelsea because I think we're going to be linked with a million players from now on, and also we need to sell some players that are never work out at Chelsea, or should I say, deadwood players, in order for us to recover the finance that we are doing at the moment. So, anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up, guys? Seems like it's
No,
not.
I think pretty much covered everything. So yeah, big up to you and good stream.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bobby, for coming in as well. It's
Big
been
up,
a pleasure.
guys.
Yeah, big up to Coachila was on the chat, DJ Seth, Dan. We had Haza here, CN, um, and also we had Raymond. A lot of you in the chat. So if I haven't called your name, I really apologize for that. We have Prav as well. Thank you for tuning in. I'm the Charles. See you in the next stream. Peace.